All right, we are about to jump into shift beers, but before we do, we felt that we should have a beer that is appropriate to drink while discussing shift beers. So I saved from the Higher Gravity Beer Vent box from the day two punch through box, West Side's exclusive Higher Gravity Beer Vent beer, High G malt liquor.
Those are some smooth malt liquor pickers over there at Higher Gravity. We're about to crack this open and get into it.
I'm going to say it. That was crispy.
Ooh.
We'll see if Newbert wants to sue us or not. So Marco is pouring 3 cups of this, 1 for each of us and 1 for producer Brian, because he was kind enough to keep it in the cooler for us. I'll take that one. It's
Sure.
fine. Yeah.
No problem.
I got that one.
I'm going to go give this to producer Brian.
Yeah. So we are going to give that over to the man creating some of the dopest snowflakes that I have ever seen. It smells. I could pull a Brian. I could pull a Brian and say it smells like plastic. Because, I'm smelling the cup.
You got a plastic cup.
We got a plastic cup. Is it going to shock us?
I don't know.
God damn it. They need to come up with an anti-static plastic cup. I know. Let's try this shit.
All right,
Cheers.
hold on. Cheers. Plastic cup cheers. Go ahead, Julia. All right, Julia's going to taste hers first. And took about half of what I poured her.
I mean, it's a malt liquor. Go big or go home, right?
Okay.
I like it. I like this. And Marco is taking his first drink. He's contemplating. He is trying to get the mic to pick up the throat sounds of the swallow, and it's not happening.
Not happening.
No. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Brian
It's
is
good.
busy cutting up snowflakes, so he will try it later, and we'll let you guys know what he thinks about High G. But Westside does such a good job of every beer that they brew, even if it's not a style that you're into. They just do a hell of a good job all the time. Like, I am never upset with anything that they do.
It's 9-point-something%, so it'll get you drunk.
Yes, and it is still on tap at Westside. And I think Higher Gravity and Westside might have a couple 4-packs of 16 ounces left. By the time this is released on Friday, they may or may not. I don't know how much they have on draft, but check out Westside Brewing this weekend, coming into the next week, and if they still have it, this is definitely worth getting a pint of.
I wonder what format are they serving it? Because you should serve it irresponsibly in liters.
40-ounce pours.
Or 40-ounce pours, exactly.
Yes, if I bring in my Westside Oktoberfest Stein, will they fill the entire thing up with High G? Oh, shit. Hey, Chris, High G from Westside? The malt liquor? Yeah. Yeah?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We just had
friend of the show,
one of our favorite people walk in. Chris from Shift Beers. He is trying the High G right now. He seems like a malt liquor kind of guy. Like he would Edward 40 Hands some shit.
Yeah, Edward 40 Hands.
Yeah, what you think? Is it what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's a home run. Right?
They nail it, yeah.
It's a home run. For what it is, it's good.
Nice, and we were actually just about to talk about shift beers, so we're going to discuss with Chris, and we'll be right back once we do.
Yep.
All right, we are back, and we have the specialist of guests with us today who showed up not knowing that. He said he didn't know we were going to be here, but we're always here on Tuesdays, so...
He had to pee, probably.
He
I
probably
would
had to pee.
I would have thought you guys were gone by now.
No, we're typically here until almost 8 o'clock.
Nice.
Because we start talking and we don't shut up, and then we get more beer, and then we have to drink the beer, and then we have to wait a little bit before I drive all the way to the west side.
You've been here before with us. I mean, we get here, we kind of take it easy. We do, we put all the equipment together, and then we do a little production meeting, and then we get into it, and there's breaks and stuff.
So
I'm looking at the laminated show notes, and then Julia has a notebook.
Correct.
I noticed you don't have a notebook.
Notes.
No, I don't.
His notes are in his head.
It's right up here.
So, okay, we need something crispy to happen. Ooh,
Oh.
that crispy crack.
Crisp.
Newbert Report is going to sue the
Crispy.
shit out of
Dude,
us.
that is a crispy crack for sure.
So, for those of us who do not recognize the heavenly voice that is joining us for the recap of Shift Beers, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Chris, and I'm from Shift Beers. And heavenly's a weird way to describe like nasally and like nerdy and overweight and out of breath.
I mean, we're just talking about your voice, not any other part of the package.
There's some of that goes into the voice too. The overweight and out of breath, like the heavy breathing is like because of I walked. It's like at least 20 feet.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really
so,
is.
You know, it's like a trip to the gym.
Yeah,
So
right. Exactly.
And I'll tell you, the timing was absolutely impeccable because we were just getting our high G's because we figure high G, the malt liquor from Westside Brewing
Yeah.
for the Higher Gravity Beer Van Calendar, was the perfect beer to drink before talking about Shift Beers.
Yes,
And that is when you walked in the door.
it was.
It was kismet. It was meant to be.
Fate.
It was fate.
Yes.
And you are now sponsoring the Shift Beer segment because
I am.
you bought us all around of
Kerr's Banquet.
Kerr's
That's right.
Banquet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Got some Kerrs.
I'm going to finish my, I'm going to chug the last of this high G and then I'm going to, I mean, do I pour it into a cup? Do I just
I got a
go
cup
from the can? Yeah.
simply because.
Oh, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a cup. I like pouring into a cup because it releases the CO2.
That's-
If the CO2 gets released in the cup, then it doesn't have to release inside of me.
Yep.
To a
Because-
lesser degree.
Because we
you
do
know.
not do burp counts on Truth Beer and Pop.
Not on Truth Beer Pod. Not for
no.
Truth Beer Pod.
True.
Right.
True. So we're going to be covering Shift Beers. I see you looking over my notes trying to
they're
figure out what's going on.
One, I can't read your handwriting.
No, I can't either.
Two,
So
I can't. Like, and they're just impressed with the volume. What did you guys go over so far that I missed? What podcasts?
Craft Parenting Podcast,
Yeah.
where they recapped the Beers, Booze, and Bonks Festival.
Oh, nice.
Kind of their recovery from that.
I saw
And-
some titties at that festival.
Yeah, we
Did.
talked about
We
that.
talked about that. We were
Don't tell me you're going to show them.
no,
Like, literally.
no. The only thing that came out of that episode was us asking Beth to slide into our DMs, pretty much.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
She won't. I've been asking that for years.
Because you remember, that was the show with the feet.
My wife.
Yeah, with
At the
your,
bookstore?
your
Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
and the purse.
Yeah.
So-
My wife's not the purse. I don't know
No,
who
no.
that was. That was.
Oh, I thought you said it was your wife who was trying to sell the purse.
No, I think
No.
someone was trying to
Well-
buy someone's purse.
Well,
but
that's
my
our
wife,
truth. Is it's your wife that tried to do that now?
No, my wife was at the bookstore in flip flops and got accosted by
Oh,
someone.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Apologize about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Well, no shit. It's our truth.
It's
we're the
all.
one that.
It's equally creepy.
So yeah, that was just last week's episode,
Yeah.
episode
That was
60.
one of my
So-
nicknames in high school.
Oh,
Equally
geez.
creepy.
Equally creepy.
Yeah.
That's an important conversation.
Yeah. We did
Oh
have
my
a poll
God.
question earlier, by the way.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we did.
No, you did not have a poll question.
Yeah.
Does Julia know what a poll question is?
I don't know. No.
I'm kind of afraid to ask. This is going sideways.
Yeah, put that one on the poll,
downwards,
Guillermo.
upside
Yeah.
down. Holy shit.
All right.
So-
Welcome, Chris.
Welcome to Truth, Beer, and
I'm so
Consequences.
happy to be
repeat
here.
guest, sponsor of the show and of this segment.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This is going to be fun. Sorry to my Josh, because this means that we're going to be here late.
He'll be
Maybe.
all right.
Maybe. He'll be fine.
He'll be okay. Yeah, so episode 61, adjuncts, they bring in, beers that got the stuff to them, the extra stuff. They go into talking a little bit about what's an adjunct and, is something like oats an adjunct and things like that. But before that, they did drinking.
We did.
They did. And I know that. I think it was it Beth that started talking about a long drink, so I wasn't sure if the long drink was the shifty
Yeah.
or if the crumb cake from Rheingeist was the shifty. It was a little unclear.
It was a split shifty. I think
Okay.
Josh was having. I think we still have some high life left from Lee's visit.
Who is going to be a guest on the show later this month.
That's amazing.
Correct.
Yes.
What a great
Yes.
guy. So Lee was on and left us some high life. So I think Josh was drinking high life. Beth and I were drinking the zero sugar, zero carb long drink.
Long
and,
drink.
Which I want to try that. I wanna find
Fisher
it.
missed the crumb cake drinking or episode. I don't know if we even drank that on the show.
You guys mentioned it, and
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you drank it or not. So I'm glad that we're getting
You
to
actually,
clear.
yeah, you actually went back and forth about whether it did or didn't make it on
I
the show.
don't know
Right.
if we drank it on the show or not. But anyway, so Brian was drinking that just because he hadn't had it and we had one left.
Right. Okay.
So, and as you guys know, beer fridge maintenance is a huge part of the Shift Beers podcast, right? So
Yep.
we don't, like, singles in there are useless.
Yeah.
So whenever we have a chance to finish something off, to replace it with something delicious.
So Brian went to, it was Thanksgiving, and so Brian went and did Thanksgiving with family.
Yep.
He said he didn't drink very much beer. It was more booze and wine. And he
Yep.
talked about Chianti. He likes Chianti, and he went into
With some
the
fava
type.
beans.
Yeah, he had his turkey with some fava beans and nice Chianti.
Again, the impressions
So
on
good.
point.
So good.
So he likes Chianti. So anybody who wants to get Brian, and Chris mentioned his last name on the show just a moment ago, a gift for the holidays, you can drop that off at the place they don't work at. And then, so he talked about that. Let's see. You and Josh did a group drinking, but Beth...
Yes.
What did Beth get into? Was she with Anik? She's with Anik like every week.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah,
She's pretty
it's
much
every
always
other. It's a
there.
custody issue.
I gotcha.
that makes sense.
That makes
That makes
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so they went to the art museum, and then they went down to both Urban Artifact and Humble Monk, which are literally cat a corner from each other down in Northside.
Okay.
Beth had a bunch of the dinosaur beer series, which are amazing. I love dinosaurs. I love beer. I love Urban Artifacts, so those are always right up my alley. And then they went over to Humble Monk and had, I don't remember everything that she had, but had some pretty good stuff.
She
over
said
there.
there,
Met
the one
owners.
that stuck out was the English mild. She said was just like banging. And they specialize in traditional styles.
Correct.
Like
More Belgian, yeah.
like West Side does traditional styles. Like Humble Monk does traditional.
Yeah, they do
like,
traditional
Abbey
and
ales and-
right, more the Belgian style traditionals. And they were getting ready to bottle their barrel aged wheat wine, I believe, when they went. Which I still have one bottle from their very first release back in 2018 or 19. I think it might have been 2019 that I have down in my. I'll call it my cellar, but it's my basement.
Go get it real quick. We'll
So
wait.
yeah. I mean, what are you waiting on? I mean, with that, are you?
To
Wait,
be perfectly honest, I
be
was
engaged?
waiting on. No, I was
Oh,
waiting
okay.
on. It's not really Josh's thing.
Oh, okay.
So I was waiting for the right group of people to bring it to. I know that the Gnome has talked about having, the Gnomies, his patrons together for like a share, whatever. And I thought that might be fun to bring it to.
Yeah. Oh,
I
so
don't
you're
know if
waiting
that'll
to
happen.
impress.
I'm waiting. I'm just waiting to share it as part of more of an experience and not just, hey, let's sit around and open this. I bought
Right.
2 bottles, already drank one of them. I drank one last year. It ages amazingly well. So she drank some of this year's release.
When is that happening?
Yeah.
The
yeah,
Nomi
it's-
bottle share? Because I'm a
well,
Nomi.
no, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No, he's still talking about it.
All right,
This was something that I think when he first did the Nomies, he was like, let's do something for them and let's
Sure.
get together for like either a bottle share or like a happy hour, something where we can all get together, do whatever. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it was, we can't do this.
Yeah, it's a
and he
bad
mentioned it again on, I think it was 2 or 3 weekly pint episodes ago,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not a show, I still call it an episode, that, he's trying to revisit that because he wants to do something for his Patreon subscribers.
Sounds like fun. I mean,
Yeah.
he's already hosted a
Fucking festival.
Fucking festival.
A
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
I mean, get you could probably put something on the calendar for your Nomies.
Hey, Gnome, there's an idea. Next year, even though I know that it would have to be not next year's Beer, Booze, and Bunks, but the year after that, for your Nomies that show up, reserve some Utopias for us.
Legit,
Just saying.
they let just anybody in there. Anybody with a ticket. Anybody.
Anyone
you
with
could
a
just,
ticket
anybody
get
can
in.
buy a
It's
ticket.
fine. Yeah.
Here I am, a Nomi.
Yeah.
Now,
And
to
what
be-
did you get from it?
To be fair,
To be fair.
To be fair.
they didn't charge us anything because we work at a local brewery.
Okay, that's fair.
So that was nice.
And your brewery was
And we
part
were
of.
present.
Yes, yes.
Present from a minuscule perspective, and
Present.
I'm taking care of that. But the it was amazing, and it also made like when that guy, because we fully walked up thinking we were going to have to buy tickets, right?
Yeah.
So we walked in. We didn't buy tickets. Brian and I didn't drink very much because we had a festival we were doing.
Right.
And all that stuff.
You had your stout blowout right before you showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we so that made that $20 to see them titties like like free, right? I was like, all right, cool. We're still net 60 here. Like, I'll donate to the cause. So it was just I just didn't think he thought I was going to do it.
Yeah.
He said that jokingly.
And then you're
when
like,
I paid,
okay.
No,
I was
you're
like,
the guy.
Did you see
he
the-
said it to the
You're
wrong
that guy.
Did you
Yeah.
see the fear enter his eyes? Like, oh shit, I have to
He
do this
didn't
now.
even hesitate. Not
Nice.
even a little bit. Like he had barely even looked at my phone to see that it was on Venmo. Like
He probably would have just been like, sure.
There's-
He just wanted,
right.
he just wanted to
I-
show
Yeah,
he
them
was ready.
jugs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he just
didn't
wanted to
even-
show off.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
could be worse.
Yeah. I mean, all that I got from my donation was just a bigger glass of the Listerman.
I heard
'Cause
that,
he,
too.
He brought over some
They were
of the cups for
sniping glasses from the water station.
and I'm like, how do I get a pour in this glass, in this like 6-8 ounce glass instead of my little 4-ounce taster? I'm like, how do I do that? He goes, donate, and I'm like, done.
Life hack.
And then you got tits.
How do I
So,
get those guys to volunteer at everything I do?
Right.
This is true.
Right,
Just
what
talk
was
to the
that
pink ribbon
donation?
girls and just be like, yo, whoever that old dude was that flashed me his tits
Dibs.
during this one.
Dibs.
Both
We
life
won.
hacks, by the way.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
So let's get back to shift beers.
Okay.
We're talking about the show that is,
Well,
is one of the reasons that we're here.
Sure. And so now that we've talked about Brian and Beth's drinking,
Dude, our recap of their drinking is almost as long as the shift beers drinking segment.
I know that they're usually
the
like
fuck?
33 minutes.
Pretty close to it.
And so
70% of the episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2/3, but 70%.
Chris
is
and
right
Josh did that thing again.
there. They did, and they didn't invite us
Nope.
again.
No,
Wait,
they
So-
didn't.
wait. Wait. No.
Oh, I want to hear this. Let's hear it.
Josh didn't invite you guys?
To wrestling? No. Didn't hear a damn thing about it until
Josh,
the podcast.
I got
Oh,
some. I
shit,
have
we're-
some scrolling to do.
Oh, shit.
You guys go ahead. Go on. Move
So-
along without me.
So they went to the, what is this, the Midwest
Northern Wrestling
Wrestling Federation. yeah.
Northern Wrestling.
Was it down at
Fairfield.
Beerkus? Or was it, where was it this past weekend?
It was in Covington again.
Okay, so down at
All
Beerkus.
right, here we go.
They do it down at
Was
Ludlow
it
Theater.
Beerkus?
Beerkus.
Was that
yeah, down
Ludlow?
at Beer-
I have
it's at Ludlow Theater
No,
/ Beerkus.
It was not at Ludlow.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, the one
Oh,
we went to
okay.
was at HITS Indoor Sports Complex in
okay,
Covington.
my bad.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
Okay.
All right, so there is there's a chat. I'm gonna read the transcript.
Transcript. Oh yeah.
Right. So
You guys are getting like the hottest take of this.
All right, so here it is,
ever.
and I go.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let's give it a beat where Julia can put some like breaking news, sort of,
Music.
Yeah.
stuff. Here, hold on.
All right. So the official, it goes like this. He goes, and this is Josh. He goes, you getting your own ticket or do you want me to get you yours? And I go, get me, Venmo coming. And then he goes, bro, front row is sold out. And I go, damn. He goes, general admission? And I go, of course. And then I
Anything
go,
to get us in there,
of
man.
course, right? And I go,
Yeah.
we should bring our own table. And I said, and then I said, we should bring our own chairs and table. He goes, okay. I wish I had a light table. And he goes, what about Julia and Marco? And I said, in these words in this order, everyone who said thanks for the invite last time, which was like everyone we know,
Which is basically me and Marco.
Right. Yeah.
Well, no, in the know,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then
Dude,
I
you
said,
mad.
I'm so excited, and I was like, also, I have a light table. We could bring our own table. So, and he goes, fine, I'll just drop. Oh, he dropped it into the work chat.
We're not.
Josh, I
don't-
said
we
invite
don't-
everyone who said invite me next time.
So, how many people from the place you don't work at said that they wanted to go? Because that's
One.
so dropping in the work chat wasn't even legit. Because we don't work at the place you don't work at.
No, but
So we would not have
I
seen
said
that.
legitimately, he goes, what about Julia and Marco? And I said, yes.
Yes.
Everyone who said.
Hmm.
And then he goes, what time is fajitas?
asking the important question.
Fajitas at my house.
I mean, we really.
Asking the important
Do
question.
you have a, what is that, a Blackstone?
I have a
or-
Blackstone. I have a Traeger and a
Aw.
Blackstone now.
I want
no
that.
big deal.
Hell.
I want those.
Oh, hell.
We did shrimp tacos on the Blackstone on Saturday, and then smash burgers yesterday, and they were fucking dope.
Oh, hell yes.
And
Yeah.
where was our invite to
There was
dinner?
no invite sent to that.
There was no.
Fair enough. So Chris, you are in charge of the invites for the next wrestling night.
I am. Yes.
So
Oh, wrestling.
hit us up.
It is the most
It
fun.
is so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
It is the best time. I went into it when I first went to Northern Wrestling Federation. The only wrestling I had exposure to was late 80s, early 90s WWE type shit. I would watch it with my grandpa when they
Same.
would watch us while my mom was working. And after that, I kind of fell out of it. I just never really watched it outside of that until my former boss at the time was
so
like,
crazy.
oh, I do this thing. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. Didn't really know what to expect. Josh and I went. I had the best time ever. Didn't really understand it. They let me jump on the stage to try and I'm like, how padded is this? And he's like, it's not. Do you want to go up? And I'm like, yes, yes, I do.
It's like a standard set of bed sheets over a bunch of 2x4s.
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
It's not.
Wow.
Much.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, next time, I would absolutely love to
Josh, fucking figure it out, bro.
get your shit together, man. And
He's the social media guy. He has contacts with
you
everybody.
would think social media. He does nothing but Facebook and Twitter and Instagram all day long. He could have easily hit us up in any of our DMs at
Yep.
Truth Beer Pod
Slide,
anywhere.
bro.
Either my personal one, Marcus' personal one, whatever.
The Truth Beer Pod one.
I know, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Slide
I mean,
in there, bro. Slide
on
into
in.
them DMs.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be the one saying slide on in, but I said it. It's
fine.
It's fine. It's cool.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I am this next thing that I want to mention about shipped beers.
Yep.
Because you talked about your drinking, wrestling, all that good stuff. You mentioned that Brett from Newbert Report is one of the cheapest Patreon level subscribers that you have, which any money is good money. You know what I mean? It's one of those,
Right.
even if all he did was do a one-time contribution to try to buy a pint, a six-pack, whatever for the show.
Yep.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, I mean, it's...
Yeah, he did do enough for a
It's-
bump.
Okay, well, but it still is a sign of support, and
We are so it's so funny because we talk so much shit, but
they are
And
such
that's-
great guys.
they are
phenomenal.
the best.
Yes. Yes.
And as a hockey guy and someone who is a Canada sympathizer, which I am,
Which means you apologize all the time?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
But no, like,
Sorry.
I mean, I'm first generation, right? So like my parents so like that's home.
Technically, I'm
ish.
first generation German, actually, not,
Really?
not Canadian. Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad was born over in Germany, and
Nice.
my sister and I, he married my mom and stuff like that. So my older cousins technically came
Mm.
first, but we're part of that first generation of that side of the family here in,
That's
in
awesome.
the U.S. Yeah.
So yeah,
Didn't mean to step over.
No, you're good. So I mean, I get it, right? We have a lot of things in common, us and those guys. So anytime
Like I say,
they
the
can
ship
do that.
beers and flannel. I mean, it is such a fun show to watch.
Good Lord, have you listened? I don't want to spoil next week.
I heard the ship beer of the week.
Ship beer of the week.
That's right.
That's amazing. I'm so
was
happy that
fun.
worked out so well.
That was so fun.
So they're not recording. I think is it this week? I think they're not recording.
Well, they're doing double episodes. They're going to
They
record.
fucking sure did.
they're
And boy,
gonna-
you could tell that second one.
Oh,
that
boy.
second one gets wild.
The last one that sometimes I'll, depending on what's going on, I'll either listen to the Newbert Report as a podcast or I'll watch it on YouTube. It just kind of depends on timing and all that. The last one that I watched was the episode that they called a train wreck. And I made, the joking comments like, haha, you guys are wearing the same thing you did last episode because they,
Good
were
for you.
making that. and all
Good
that.
for
They
you.
mentioned like, hey, in the beginning, anybody gonna notice we're wearing the same thing?
Yes.
And that's why on YouTube I made a comment calling him out like, I totally noticed this, guys, even though I watched the last one. I know what you're doing.
I
but
fucking love it.
It's great.
Good for them.
But because of shift beers, Marco and I now have targets on our head should someone contribute to the $4.99 shift beers Patreon level.
It was brought
So,
up
This is kind
that
of
if-
awkward having you sit here.
if
I wanna know.
Josh, Brian, and Beth want so badly for us to be the first ones to mail beers from the States to
And
them,
Kevin get to- yeah.
no one else is going to do it besides you guys. So, $1,000, we'll round it up.
Which that actually answered one of the questions that we had during our production meeting.
No, you get one.
Legit. Right, and that's what we were talking about before we started recording, or maybe this was in part of our pre-show talk.
Yeah, the production
I
meeting.
can't remember anymore. Was the production meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
production
We were
meeting.
saying was the see how professional we
It's a production meeting. It's amazing.
bullshit. We just are like, okay, let's get beers. Hey, what did you listen to? Okay, well, what do we need to talk about to kind of
Love it.
remind ourselves? It's awesome. So we were saying, because you had said if someone contributes the $4.99 level Patreon, Julia and Marco are the targets to make sure that we don't get Newbert Report beers before Shift Beers gets Newbert Report beers, which I feel that you guys should get them.
Right.
Probably not beers. You're going to send them seltzers, right? I mean, that's all you guys do anymore.
No. So, to be fair,
True be
to be
fair.
we
fair.
probably will only send them one of what we make.
That's cool.
But I think a Cincinnati care package,
That'd
we
be
talk
fun.
about
Are you going to
truth
send them Skyline and,
so
and
much.
shit?
Oh shit, we should throw a can
If you
of
do,
Skyline
if you
in
do
there.
like a Cincinnati, you need to
Can
do
you
you need to
imagine?
do a can of La Rosa sauce, a can of Skyline chili, and then like a couple.
Actually,
cans
that's
of beer.
probably a way to get what you want
over
there.
the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Skyline.
It's Skyline
Yeah,
chili.
Skyline chili.
That's not a
You're
terrible
welcome.
idea. All right.
Just saying.
All right. So now we're in on it together.
But we were talking in the production meeting. Does that $4.99 is that for a person or is that for an entity? Because as Truth Beer Pod, we are an entity, or is that blurring the line too much to where the next person to give you guys that 500 Patreon, can say, well, you did two people for that. Why don't I get two? Is that just starting?
Okay.
Is that opening up a too big of a can of worms?
So I want to clarify
Yes.
that it is $4.99 gets you one person. However
single
long,
person.
1
Okay.
month
Okay.
or 100 months
Okay.
gets you one person.
Okay.
So someone has already paid for one of you.
Oh shit.
So it's only $4.99 to take out the duo. So I won't say that Caroline. I won't tell you who she picked, but it's but it's one of you guys.
Well, I mean,
Also that brings up why I'm here.
oh shit.
Ah,
Oh shit.
Chris,
Ju-
I want to talk to you. I've been meaning to talk to you, and I think we should have a conversation.
You want to have a sit down?
We should have a conversation, Chris.
To
But I want to make you an offer.
an offer you can't refuse.
I like you, Chris.
All right. Well, Caroline was right. Here we go.
Oh, to my Josh, I love you so much. Enjoy the rest of the beer event calendar. Hopefully, there's still some great IPAs in there for you. I love you very much. And just so you know, I went out doing what I love, which is drinking.
Caroline just said, "Do the one who doesn't do impressions." So
Oh shit! Yep. Yeah, but I do parodies. Doesn't that count? Isn't that like a non-vocal impression?
Well, when your parodies are so targeted about me interrupting Beth,
That was just one.
it was what resonated with the crew, though. Like, no, she's right. You're a
But
fucking dick.
everyone does it, but I needed to pick like every
It was
person. I wanted to call out everyone individually.
It was so
I'm sorry.
good. It was so
I'm
good.
Sorry, I'm gonna
we
die
were
now.
literally in tears laughing about how fucking ridiculous that was. It was so funny. All right,
All right,
where are we at?
We are
Off the rails.
well, but this all ties into what you were talking about on Shift Beer, so it's not entirely off the rails. It
Right.
just someone just pulled that lever to make the train go to the right when we thought it was going to go straight. So we just need to wait for that next lever pull to get us back on track. You guys talked about chili parlors.
We
and
did.
how you wanted to go to every Cincinnati chili parlor.
That's a me and Josh fantasy.
Well,
let's be honest.
so make that a Patreon thing. Like every time you guys go to one, just like you did with the Banger in a Box,
Yep.
do a little video clip, a little audio, whatever. Each time you do it, sometimes the entire team's going to be there. Sometimes it's not. But when you go to Price Hill Chili, that is literally half a mile. That's like a 5-minute walk from my house.
All right.
Let me know so I can meet you guys there if I'm still alive at
Maybe.
this time. I mean,
We'll
I
see
don't
how
even
it
know if I'm
goes.
going to make it home from this. Marco, you may need to edit this episode.
oh, I have a. Hold on.
Oh,
Step 1, get a box. Step 2,
Heading this in.
put some vomit in that box. Like this chili episode, it just is. I'm out. It's not for me. I'm not a
is
Cincinnati
it because of the
native.
chili or is it because of the cheese?
It's because this is going to come up again.
Couple
It-
things.
Yeah.
This is going to
There are
come
a
up
couple
again.
things wrong with
It's just not my thing. I'm not going to be rude and tell you that it tastes like vomit, but what I will say is that as we get into some of the beers,
Mm-hmm.
that you guys were having, Vomit may come up as a topic or an issue. You guys go. I mean, you do you. I mean, if you love to have this slop that you love. And it's your thing. You do it. You do it, and you wear your badge and you wear it proud. But this stuff that is culinary doo-doo, you know, I just want you to know that, you know, I'm sure there's many people out there who would enjoy that content. I don't want to be forced to have to comment on that content. However, I am here to do the work. I am here. I will fall on the sword for all of the Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast lovers. You know, we are the #1 Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast that talks about Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast.
You are.
We are.
So I will, if this is indeed an episode, we, as a show, will comment on it.
You are the #1 podcast in Canada that talks about Cincinnati podcasts. Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's a weird category, but you guys are the #1.
So that's what we did when we talked about, hey, we both want to start a podcast. What do we want to do? We went, what is the most nichiest niche podcast to make us #1 regardless? And we went podcast about podcasts, specifically Cincinnati Craft Beer.
I hope that everyone, and I don't know who listens, and I don't know what
Rachel,
your guys'
Marcus'
numbers
mom,
are.
Josh, my mom.
Right, those guys. I hope I listen.
You guys,
I
yeah.
hope
yeah.
that everyone gets it the way that I do. That you guys are essentially the talk soup of Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcasts, right? Like there's just a level of ridiculousness with
Just
the
enough
podcast in this
snark,
town.
enough,
It's
you know,
so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And the impressions and the songs and the bullshit, it's just enough that, like, I hope everyone gets it because it is absolutely hysterical.
We hope so too. So going back to the gut.
I truly appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah.
That's high praise coming for somebody that I know. I personally, and I think Julia, I hate to speak for anybody other than myself, but I think Julia and I have already proclaimed how much we just really enjoy your shift beers and everybody's commentary and comment that's on your show, and I truly appreciate that high praise. That 20 is right there, bud.
Oh yeah, got it.
But kind of going back to the,
you want to see the
to kind of close
yes.
the loop. Oh, Jesus.
That's what I gave
He's
it to
gonna-
you for.
Chris is going to bring out the truffle shuffle
Raise
for
'em
Marco
up.
here real fast.
That's
and,
right.
Truffle.
Be glad that this episode is not a video
This is not the
episode.
truffle shuffle. This is the Entenmann sampler truffle. the Whitman sampler.
Whitman's.
This is a fucking.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
so happy.
no. This is
No.
That's how it's meant to be.
This is the content we were meant to have for tonight.
so
There's
happy.
a
For sure.
reason. There's a reason you walked through those doors tonight, Chris.
So weird.
There was a
Yeah.
reason you are here, and it wasn't to talk about chili parlors, which, like I said, put it out as a Patreon episode. That way, people like Marco, who is not a Patreon supporter of Shift Beers,
I noticed that.
Yeah.
doesn't have to put up with
Mm-hmm.
listening to chili talk.
Chili talk.
Chili talk.
It's chili time. Well, after you guys talked about, Chris wanting to kill both of us and
Nope.
what you guys
Someone
drank,
else wants to kill you guys.
and-
I don't want to do any of that.
Well, but you guys threatened us. Well, or rather, the $4.99 Patreon level threatened us
Just
for trying
said-
to say that we would send Newbert
It's
Report
an
beers
option
first.
if someone didn't
Okay.
want it done.
That's fair.
Correct.
That is
Yeah.
fair. Okay, that is fair.
Well, then you got to beers with adjuncts.
You did.
We did.
And Beth brought one of the coolest sets of beers with adjuncts, the Urban Artifact Epicurean 4-pack of, I don't know if the 4-pack had a name, if it was just a Japanese
It's an
theme.
interesting way to reference it. Yeah.
But it had mochi matcha 5-spice cake, which I spelled with a K in my notes because I'm an idiot, and kimchi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were the 4 that were in there.
Yeah. You chugged the kimchi. You slammed that one
There was
down.
no way. So I like kimchi.
Okay.
I
was about
absolutely
to ask,
like
yeah.
kimchi.
You do, really?
Yep. Mhm.
So
No, you're-
why? So
okay.
why wouldn't? So is there a
No
reason
wonder
that you
you're
would?
a murderer.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is true.
Mhm.
This is true. So is there a reason, if you like kimchi, that you wanted to be through that beer as quickly as possible, rather than trying to see how well they hit the mark on that?
So I'll say this as objectively as I can. there are things and flavors that belong places and things and flavors that don't. And
That's fair. So Brett Coleman Baker is a listener and supporter of the show. So
no,
be careful with your words.
No,
I don't know.
I wouldn't, and I would say this if you were here. So
Yeah.
don't get,
They do amazing things.
They do. I just finished my first mixed 12-pack at the house, and this is the first time I'd ever had Haro.
Because that's only
Heroin?
available in their 12-pack, right?
No, heroin I've had a lot. Heroin, it's like a traditional goza.
Okay, very good.
I drank
very
2 of
good.
those last night as I was wrapping that 4-pack. And they're delicious. But and I love what those guys are doing. They're on another level from other sour breweries in the country,
I'd
in
agree.
the world, from what they're doing.
Sure, without a doubt.
And I love kimchi,
Okay.
and I get kimchi.
Did she pose in Playboy?
Yeah, you know her.
Yeah, kimchi.
Yeah, 87.
I gotcha.
Yep.
I didn't start subscribing until the
I
early
knew
2000s. So.
Oh, I gotcha.
From the jump that I wasn't gonna like the garlicky, like spicy. I'm like, all right, like
that
we're gonna
makes
do
sense.
this. I mean, and I would.
But you like other spicy beers.
I like other spicy
Okay,
beers for sure.
okay.
It's like the sour with the onion and the garlic.
Okay.
And it was right. It tasted like kimchi.
Now, was that the one out of the 4 that I feel like you all felt was the most on point as far as the flavor they were trying to go for?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It was it was a bases clearing, bottom of the 9th, absolute grand slam, like game winner as far as like relative to the flavor on the label, like by a lot. The
Okay.
5 spice cake was too. It was really, there was a little bit like I would have just too much star anise, but that's also a weird flavor to go in
It is.
sour beer.
Yeah.
The matcha and the mochi
Yeah.
were like perfect, and I could have put away a whole 4-pack of either one of those, especially on a hot day. But I knew going in the kimchi, I'm like,
You're gonna like it, but it's
and I
going to be.
poured that beer, so I knew.
You
as
tend
soon
to
as
be
I,
the pourer of the beers.
I'm
for
the
episode,
bar
yeah.
guy of the beer of the group, so I poured those, and I
Heavy
could
is the head that wears the crown.
right.
Yeah.
And so I poured them, and I smelled it. And I'm like, oh my god, like this is right.
It's on.
This is going to be delicious but awful, right? Like,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
kimchi is
Right,
not,
sure.
Like, so one of my favorite dishes in the greater Cincinnati area. There's a little bar in Old Milford, or a little restaurant
Milford.
in Milford,
Milford.
called The Governor. That's run by Chef
Yeah.
Paul Baracco.
Beth has been there multiple times, and you guys are always
We've been there,
upset
yeah,
when.
a few times.
yeah.
We've been there a few times.
Okay, yeah.
So they have a short rib grilled cheese
Which sounds fucking amazing.
that comes with
yeah.
a side of.
Well, Marco would need to leave
Marco
out the
can't
cheese.
do the
He
cheese.
can't.
So
He can do the
Julia, let me
short
tell you
rib.
about this short
yeah,
rib
talk
grilled
to me,
cheese.
Yeah, go
Chris.
ahead.
Let's-
I mean, y'all get
that
into
comes
it.
with a cup of kimchi tomato soup.
Okay.
That is fucking bananas.
And it's dippable, like it's
Oh
just all.
my goodness! And it'll ruin the rest of your day, right? Because it's
probably.
so dank and dense and heavy and delicious. Like I get it. We use a lot
How
of
late are they open? Like, are we? Like,
think-
do you want to head out like as soon as?
8.
Damn it.
We're not gonna
Oh,
make it.
you
Damn
can't get
it.
in the truck and get there.
Yeah.
No.
Too late.
But it's a it's one of the best things ever. So like I love kimchi, and that beer tasted just like kimchi.
That's awesome.
But
But there's
it's not
some.
something you drink. It was just so I slammed it.
So-
like
And,
I did
and that's one of my thoughts about a lot of urban artifact beers is they are so incredibly good, but
They're
couldn't
gifted.
get through. But I couldn't get through like an entire 4-pack of 16-ounce cans, or even sometimes like 12-ounce cans. Like I can have one, but then I need to
Right.
distance myself for a bit. Like it's not a multiple urban artifact beers in a single session kind of.
I don't
and-
in any way want to compare anything that I make at the place I don't work at to anything Urban Artifact makes, or even the caliber of what beer is put out. But I can tell you, as an example, I made a coconut pineapple beer a couple years ago, and it did not taste like suntan lotion. It hit all the flavor profiles real coconut, real pineapple. I mean, put it out. At the time, we were with a distributor, and they were losing their minds about how it tasted, and it just didn't land with the drinking public. And it wasn't because this tasted like suntan lotion. No, none of that. It just is like we made what we wanted to make, and it tasted exactly like what we wanted it to taste like, and it didn't land. Now, I think that when you're taking your own liberties and making your own product and wanting to do things that are interesting to you, you can do that, and you can live by that. But what happens sometimes is that no matter how perfect it is, it just, maybe
it's something that a few people want, but not the masses.
Yeah, maybe
want.
Maybe it's just not something that's in any way sessionable. And in any business where you're trying to move a product, what you want is somebody to say, "Hey, I liked it, I had it, and I'd really like to have it again." In the format that they put it out. And again, I didn't have it, but Chris, let me ask you, if they put it out in a different format, is it anything that you would order again? Or was it just a novelty that you say, "Hey, they made what they wanted to make, and good on you, but I just can't have more than one of this"?
So I would say that if Urban Artifact had a kimchi beer on, and it was on draft, right? And there's no way that if someone was in town and we went to Urban Artifact, right? If I had family in town and for some reason or another we went to Urban Artifact, which every time we have family in town they always want to go to where I work, which is the fucking worst, but that's fine. But so there's no way I wouldn't say, like, if you're gonna get a flight, you have to get the kimchi beer. If you're gonna do a flight, right, get Gadget for sure, get Chariot, get Pickle, but don't sleep on this if you like kimchi.
But if kimchi was in a 4-pack of
which
just
it was
kimchi,
on this, yeah.
Well, no.
Oh, like a straight 4-pack of kimchi?
What I'm saying, a straight 4-pack, not a mixed 4-pack, to where it was just one, to where you got 4 cans of kimchi. Would you drink more than one in your session?
That just sounds rough.
You know what I mean?
No.
That just sounds rough.
And I think that's part of the problem.
It's such a unique niche, but without...
That's not a diss or
not at all.
dogging
Not at
anything
all.
like that.
Not at all.
Anybody who makes and creates something and it comes out exactly like what they want. This is so niche. I mean, we're a podcast that talks about podcasts. They made a kimchi beer. Did it taste like kimchi?
If anyone knows
Yes.
niche, it's us.
Well,
Yeah.
then they fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
I will say, without people like Brett or Kelly and people who are pushing the envelope,
Yes.
there is nowhere to go.
No.
Right?
No,
'Cause
everyone's just
somewhere-
another overly sugary New England IPA.
Or
pastry
somewhere,
style, yeah.
and that happened one time. One time there were stouts, and somebody put lactose and Butterfinger in a stout. One time, it took once.
And now that's all you can
And
find.
now it's all you can find.
Like
And
that's why I was so excited when I found out that the cold brew Imperial Stout from Westside
Doesn't
had
have-
no lactose.
Right.
I'm like, because I find these beers and I enjoy them, and I'm like, this is so good. I want to share them with Marco.
Right.
Have them on the show. But then I look at it, it's like it has lactose, or it has some of the
Right.
sour strains, to where I'm like, all he can drink are fucking Pilsners. So I was so excited to find someone that went, we don't have to put 5 billion adjuncts, which kind of ties us back to your podcast. We don't have to put 5 billion adjuncts in this. We can do one simple one and make this amazing. You guys talked about that with like Bourbon County and...
oh, God, the fucking wheat
and
wine.
there was something else. Yeah, like there.
Yeah, the wheat
like,
wine.
There was one like base, but ever since then, it's been every single stout you can kind of find is there are 50 million other things thrown into it.
So the one you're thinking of is the Naked Baptist.
Yes, the
Yeah,
Naked
we
Baptist.
did.
Yes,
Naked
yes,
Baptist.
which sounded
Yep.
amazing.
Barrel-aged Baptist, which was the best beer we had on the show.
Yeah. Which I kind of feel
And
a
it
little
was
hypocritical
perfect.
because I still need to pick up my Dark Charge order, but I did not order the base. I ordered the ones with the edges. So
Ah.
I'm like, base.
I
Right, I 100%, you know.
the base
but I
Dark
know-
Charge is fucking
I bet it's amazing, and if somehow there's still some, I would love to. But I'm like, I'm not the biggest bourbon barrel age fan because so many times it is all booze, no beer. If I'm buying a beer, I want to taste the
Yep.
beer and the bourbon separate, separate but equal, whatever.
I understand.
And so I had never, the first time I had Dark Charge, Gnome actually, we met up, my boyfriend and I met up with Gnome to give him some beers that we brought back from Sean at Nostalgia Brewing up in Columbus or Gahanna. And he was like, oh, I'm here for the founders tasting. And I just happened to say, oh, I've never had any Dark Charge. I've never tried. I've never had a single drop. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to fix that for you. He brought down, a little bit in a glass, and I'm like, this is amazing. I want this, but I was worried that the base would be too much on the bourbon side, so I didn't get any. And now I am kicking myself
Perfect.
for not for not being able to understand that base.
Wish I would have known that. I know a guy who would have slid you a couple of bucks to get a base and shared that.
Well, I have a friend coming in from Wisconsin. I think he might have gotten one of the bases if I can try to buy him. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to because he said that he brought an entire allotment of one of the breweries up in Wisconsin that he is bringing down for me. So I am sure there
Nice.
will be something without lactose that I can
Fantastic.
share with you.
I'm going to step in the ladies' room. You
All
guys
right.
feel free to talk shit.
All right. All we really
No,
have
no,
to all
we're
we
good.
really have to cover. I mean, we kind of covered almost everything we wanted to. The only thing left to do is the burp count. So if you want to go ahead and do what
Oh,
you
shit.
need to do,
Oh, you do want to hear this?
you do want to hear
Go ahead.
this.
Go ahead. We're going to take a break, actually. Chris is going to step to the ladies' room. I'm going to step to the little boys' room.
All right.
Julia is
I'm
going to
just
go in the
gonna-
ladies' room after Chris gets out of the ladies' room.
that sounds like such a bad idea.
No, he's not. He doesn't. He didn't have Cincinnati chili before he went in there.
Yeah,
so.
but is he going to be sitting down? That's my question.
Well, it's
Possible.
It's possible.
Okay.
It's easier.
We'll play it by ear. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break. We still have plenty of curs. Well, I don't know if Chris still has plenty of curs. He seems like
Who's
he's.
we? Still have plenty of
I
curs.
still have plenty
we
of
all
curs.
took
'cause
care of the curs.
I'm a slow ass drinker. You guys know this. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with Chris from Shift Beers to go over the ever important like curs,
Curs.
the ever important.
Burp count.
Hell yeah.
4 weeks later.
A million years later.
It's so stupid. I wish he hadn't done that, but I love it so
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. This episode, I will say, one of the last notes that I had written down was lacking buttons.
It
There weren't
was.
many buttons
Yeah,
that were used.
Beth called that out as well.
She did.
On the show,
She did.
live.
Yes.
All right, so we are back. My glass is empty, but we do have another beer that Chris was going to be share. Or no,
Marco's
pulled this one out of
bought that,
the
yeah.
cooler. My bad. I'm giving
Hi,
you
neighbors.
credit where credit is not due. So it is the Narragansett lager. Nice big old can. We're going to go ahead and split that. Do you want to get a nice crispy can crack going, Marco?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I
Do it.
do
Do
it.
it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
All right, here we go. All right. Yeah.
Brett, this is for you. Damn.
You
That
don't
was
get
so
a pop.
crispy.
You got a crack but you got no pop.
So,
Allow
but
me.
That sounded good. Thank you, Chris.
Of course, yes.
So crispy.
All right, so once Chris is done
Gotta have
pouring,
one really crispy.
oh my goodness,
Fuck
pouring
around.
this, we are going to go over the burp count for this episode of Shift Beers, which was lacking.
Was it?
It was
Yeah.
probably the lowest burp count you guys have had, and I'm not sure why, especially with you basically shotgunning that kimchi beer.
I think it was. I think Chris has a story. I personally think that as free flowing as all the episodes have been, as pretty consistent, or you've got highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a story behind why this episode may have been,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, they cut it out of the episode And I don't know if it's going to show up on Patreon or not, but they're like, leave the laugh track in, but you've got to cut this part out.
So the laugh
Chris?
track was for a joke that could never, ever, ever hit regular airwaves.
I made one of those jokes once, and I should have cut it out of the
Ever. That one could.
Which is fair. We are not asking.
So by the
we
way,
are,
I heard that.
we are not asking you to reveal.
I was in the
joke
middle
now.
of doing some household chores, and I was like, oh, that must have been really good.
It was really bad.
Really good or really bad,
It was
yeah.
really bad.
But I felt that this episode's burp count was, like I said, one of the lowest that we've had, but there was a lot more conversation, a lot more going on.
That's all.
And there weren't as many beers being drank this episode
That
as
ain't it.
normal. I mean, you split
That
the
ain't
4-pack,
so.
you
Long
had...
drinks and shifties and there's a lot of beers that
And
get
so-
drank on the show that maybe don't show
Don't
up on the
actually-
show
okay.
too, right?
Which then you have no excuse for this burp count.
I have an excuse.
So, you have an excuse? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So this episode's burp count, and I even went back. I listened to the episode twice to make sure that I wasn't missing something.
Wow, 2 clicks
That's-
from Julia.
That's how I literally, because once
we got 4 listens.
once I'm done
Yeah.
with an episode, my podcast app deletes it, so I had to re-download it. So you're welcome for
Thank
the
you.
extra download this week.
Thank you.
But I did. I had to re-listen twice because I went, did I zone out? I don't know that I could have missed that
What was
many.
the official count?
9.
9.
9
Seems high.
which is well okay, so let's back up a little bit. Marco, do you want to go over what the burp count game
Okay,
is
yeah.
for
So
any new
I mean,
listeners?
so for everyone who's been with us, thank you. You know what's going on. For the new listeners, we'll catch you up. So the burp count is essentially what it sounds like. You listen to shift beers every time somebody burps. You take a drink. What we do on this show is we tick mark. We count every audible burp. And then we give you the count. And a typical drink is about 2 ounces of liquid. So we do the math and let you know how many pints.
I didn't even need a calculator for this week's math.
Yeah.
For the
How
burp
many
count.
pints you would consume doing the drinking game along with shift beers. And
Yeah, and this week's added spice, because I like to do little fun things for the side of my notebook where I have all my little tick marks. The added spice for the adjunct episode, 9 burps, 18 ounces, 1.125 pints. So just barely over 1 pint of beer during, or 1 pint of whatever beverage you'd like to take on in this episode. So Chris, you said you had an explanation.
There's no explanation.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a
I feel like you guys got them all out of your system during the seltzer episode.
well, there's that.
Which is amazing.
That was also
And
like
painful.
one of my favorite experiences ever. Was like the 3 of us just looking at each other and like there's no way any
Yeah.
of us can say a word until we burp.
Yeah.
A-
How
and
much
I'm-
was cut out of that as far as silence in between trying to burp?
More
to
than,
kind of go behind the
more
curtain
than
a
you can
little
tell.
bit.
Josh is amazing at editing, except for episodes where we try to go for 0.
That's fair.
So we tried to go for
That's
0.
fair. Okay,
And you can
okay.
hear at the beginning
I see.
where one of us goes like, "Oh, I fucking blew it," right? Because the idea was
Yeah, I gotcha.
to go for 0, and we.
Man, you well,
my favorite is when you go for 0 and you miss it by fucking 10, right? Or
right,
almost
or
10.
almost 10.
Yeah.
That tracks. That tracks. And,
If that tells you
well,
how ridiculous
so,
that is.
wonderful.
So that just says, instead of being like mad props for a ton of burps, that is mad props to Josh for his editing skills.
Did pretty good.
It was pretty seamless
You
for how he cut that out.
Tell.
Now,
And we would have had no idea.
To
we
be fair,
would
there was a lot of
like
going
holding
on,
it in
to
and like
be fair.
turning away from the mic
Yeah.
like what we do.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, that's great.
that's awesome.
I love that you
Yeah.
put that that little nuance in there. So
Yeah.
you never know.
You
It's
never
true.
know.
So on those days that we give a lower burp count, they could just be trying to manually not adjust, but affect their stats. As
Well,
far
I think
as
it was
how
a
many
fun.
burps are
I think it was
going.
a fun game. It's
It
like
really was,
we're all
yeah.
we're all a family, and we all listen to each other's shows. And thank you to everyone who does. And they said, you know what would be a cool thing as an inside joke is if we could maybe put out a
Have
show
almost
with
no
no
no burps, and I
You
bet
guys nailed
I
it.
have a feeling
Almost.
that I have a feeling
Almost.
this is going to come around again one day. Thank you, Chris.
That was really gnarly. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Chris.
No,
and
no,
for
no.
those of you,
That,
It won't go away.
bro, did you have Skyline?
It's like sitting here. Dude, there's no airflow. Like, this is a huge building. How did that not move at all?
Because they don't have the
It
fans
just fucking lingered.
oh shit! The Centel Sky's gonna need to make an extra
We
visit for this
record
one.
in a fucking like a 10 by 12 office, and it moves more than that.
Well, you guys probably actually set up fans because like Brian doesn't wear shoes half the time.
We
You
should.
need to get that
Yeah,
air
and you
moving.
just all
Marco's
just.
been in that office.
I have been in that
yeah.
office, and I've sweated. It's like, hey, is anybody else warm? Anybody else sweating?
No, just you, man. Oh shit. Okay.
God.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
So anyway, well,
So,
if you hadn't listened to the show, that's what it sounds like mostly.
yeah, that's good on you guys, and I have a feeling
Yeah.
that's gonna creep around again one of these days, and
Probably will.
we will be ready for you.
So now we're gonna know how. Now we're gonna be questioning whenever there's an episode with a low burp count. What did they cut out so that they can try to pad their numbers a little bit for the next seltzer episode
Well,
or
I think-
gas station?
We're never doing
singles
another
episode?
seltzer episode. We talked about this. We
Yeah,
did the
but-
last one, and then we did the last one, and then the next one will be the last one, and the one after that will be like the
No,
really
for sure,
last.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think what you're trying to get at is when we have a show with no burps, then what's our gimmick at that point? Like,
Right.
what are we
What
gonna do?
are you guys gonna do?
What are we gonna? We're gonna have to go back to like your Alzheimer moments, or even Josh's now. He's starting to get a
Dude,
little bit
he's
bad
got
with forgetting
problems.
what's going on.
It's trouble over there.
or the SpongeBob references, which I mean, this past episode there are not a lot of buttons being pushed, so that number's gonna be low still.
We're tightening it up
Okay.
too, which means we're having less buttons. There are fewer people knocking on the doors. There are fewer interruptions. We've got a fridge now.
Apologize about that.
Marco with his face up against the glass. Hey guys, tap tap
yeah.
tap. Let me in. Tap, tap, tap.
I had to pee, and I'm here.
It's okay.
That was such a great episode.
It was so fun.
and it led us to Lee.
Oh,
who
for
is-
sure.
who
He
is
is one
our-
of the best dudes in the world.
I want to say he is the patron saint of Truth Beer Pod just because he is such an awesome human being. Lee and I beat the shit out of Marco and my Josh at Foaling at Beer Booze and Bunks, by the
Nice.
way, in case you
Well,
didn't
that's
know.
interesting. The way you tell that story.
Yeah.
It is my version of the truth, and I'm
Oh,
sticking
for sure.
to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no consequence.
Chris, so $4.99, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
right? But you don't want to double down. Somebody's
Yeah.
already
Oh, you're
God.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
my God.
somebody's already claimed Julia.
Oh,
Caroline.
Yep.
Caroline, I thought we were friends.
Yeah, you did. So anyway, I gotta go. We gotta go over there real quick.
All right. Well, this kind of wraps up the shift beer segment of this episode. We still have Cincy Brewcast to cover, where he talked with Zach Holly over at Sonder. Well, not Zach Holly from Sonder Brewing, but they were at Sonder Brewing
Correct.
and they talked to each other.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
And they didn't invite Chris up, and so he is apparently very.
Whenever
pissed off.
I don't get invited to anything that anyone else ever does ever. Like if you're doing something
kinda like,
right
kinda
now,
like Marco and I and wrestling. I know that's Josh, not you, but I'm just saying we can empathize.
I legitimately was like,
we
yes,
can
like
empathize.
everyone that we talked to that wanted
Everyone, not just people.
I'll
that
tell
we
you what.
work
I mean,
with.
after listening, very upset I missed out on a Blumpkin.
to go. So that was the first wrestling.
Are you though?
Any chance you have to get a Blumpkin, I think, is a chance worth taking.
Yeah. Very upset. Miss out on Blumpkin.
Oh my God, am I gonna have to go back through the show notes and find out what episode that was talked about and edit that in about? Listen to
Yeah.
episode blah
I'll
about
tell you what.
Blumpkins.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Blumpkin or no Blumpkin?
Oh,
Shit.
yes. Put it on the poll.
All right, we're going to take another real quick break, and then we are going to get to Cincy Brewcast and wrap up this week's episode. So stick around, and we'll be right back with you.